going down. We'll have the latest on demolition changing the landscape of North Broad.
Adjunct advocacy. Temple adjuncts pushing for a union.
And rack 'em up. Campus prepares for the arrival of bike share. Now on Temple Update. Hello, you're watching Temple Update. I'm Beck Hendrickson.
And I'm Phil Dupont. Harrisburg may hit students hard at the dining hall and at the bookstore as our coverage of the battle for the budget continues.
It's a tax hike that's targeting college students.
Governor Wolf's budget plan includes an extra charge on textbooks, meal plans.
Increase in the sales tax for Philadelphia is under discussion.
A discussion in Harrisburg that Senator Kitchen and other Pennsylvania legislators see coming down to the wire. Under the governor's plan to create new revenue for public education, he's proposed 45 items no longer be exempt from Pennsylvania's sales tax, which he plans to increase from 6% to 6.6%.
Philadelphia is already at 8%, and we are not happy about adding 0.6% already to 8%.
But under the governor's proposal, Philadelphia's 2% sales tax would decrease by the same amount the state sales tax would increase, cutting it to 1.4%. As state representative and Temple alum John Taylor says, the price tag may be too much for student support.
The most popular meal plan is what you call Basic 10 there, and that usually costs $1,478. So that would increase that meal plan by $97.55.
Include Philadelphia's sales tax, and the cost of that same meal plan could be up to $120 more. But an empty cup isn't the only thing this budget proposal could leave students with.
The average cost of books is about $1,257 per year. That would mean an additional $83.
Add 1.4% for any books bought at Temple's bookstores, and that number rises to $100.
Coming up with that tuition money is hard enough, and this isn't going to help.
If approved, these changes would take effect next school year. Meanwhile, Governor Wolf told the Inquirer this week he wouldn't be surprised if the budget was not completed by the deadline, June 30th.
Temple students will go to Harrisburg next week to take the battle for the budget into their own hands. TSG says hundreds of students plan on flooding the Capitol building to meet with lawmakers. If approved by the General Assembly, the budget will mean a $15 million increase for Temple. A registration form is available online for students who want to go to Harrisburg. A crew from Temple Update is going along. We'll have more on this story next week.
The votes are in, and the student body has a new leader. Future TU will be head of the Temple student government for the 2015-16 year. The party is led by President-elect Ryan Rinaldi, his VP of External Affairs, Ben Nguyen, with Brittany Boston as VP of Services. Future TU beat out Represent TU with 66% of the vote. Voter turnout nearly tripled from last year.
And Temple's adjunct faculty has been fighting for a seat at the bargaining table. But Update's Jackie Nelms shows us the university has been pushing back.
Adjunct faculty is looking for change. They have held rallies and filed a petition for a union election. The petition has now reached about 3,000 signatures.
We're here to show Temple University that adjunct professors want a union.
Temple University does not agree with the unionization of these part-time professors and is currently challenging adjuncts the right to have an election. Maggie Abnar is one of 6 adjuncts who went to Harrisburg to speak out in favor of the union election.
More benefits and more continuity and sense of job security. So even having, say, a 1-year contract rather than a semester contract, or having some guarantee that if my classes are canceled at the last minute, I'll get some reimbursement would be really helpful.
Assistant Vice President of Human Resources Sharon Boyle says that Temple has worked directly with adjuncts for the past year and a half on getting them what they need, and has made a lot of changes based on these discussions, including more than an 8% increase in minimum salary.
we are already putting in place the things that they want without the delays that are associated with things like collective bargaining, without the kind of conflicts that we're talking about between full-time faculty and adjunct faculty.
TAUP President Arthur Hochner does not understand why the university is so opposed to adjunct unionization.
I think that the administration doesn't want faculty to have as much say in their working conditions, and I think that's a shame.
A decision for adjunct unionization is not expected to be made until late summer or early fall. The next hearing is scheduled on April 21st in Harrisburg. Reporting for Temple Update, I'm Jackie Nelms.
Temple Update is bringing you continuing coverage of the changes that are coming to North Broad.
Update's Dan Ray is live on Broad and Norris in front of one of the active construction spots on campus.
Dan, students are seeing some of those visualized Temple plans come to life. Tell us what's in store.
Thanks, guys. As you can see behind me, construction vehicles are still working on knocking down the old graduate apartments. They've been working all morning. You can see them clearing debris right now. But in the coming weeks, that's not going to be the only construction site taking place on campus. Once all the apartments on Broad and Norris are knocked down, crews will begin building a pocket park in their place. The new green space will feature lighting fixtures and benches for the community to enjoy. More construction projects like this are scheduled to begin this summer. Barton Hall is slated for demolition this year, and a new library will be built in its place. Temple will build athletic fields on Broad and Master once they tear down William Penn High School, and the university recently announced that they would be making some changes to the heart of campus this summer. A Temple official said the goal is to create uniformity across campus, and they're starting by resurfacing Leocor's Walk and Walkman Plaza. They plan on redoing the landscaping and installing a new drainage system and lights as well. That construction on Leocor's Walk is set to begin on May 11th, the Friday after graduation. Stay with Temple Update in the following weeks for all the latest on the new developments. Reporting live from Broad and Norris for Temple Update, I'm Dan Ray.
Thanks, Dan. It's been a month-long soft opening, but Temple Center City Campus Cafe is officially open for business. A crowd cheered on the cutting of the ribbon when the TUCC Cafe opened its doors. The main figures behind the renovation told Temple Update the soft opening was successful, but they're happy to see the project finally completed.
If you talk to the managers at Barnes & Noble, they've been really pleased with not only the sales in the cafe, but also the merchandise sales.
Several city officials made an appearance to witness the opening. This is just the beginning of several more additions to come to the Center City campus.
A recent shooting at an off-campus party has students questioning Temple security. Update's Melissa Steininger tells us why Temple students didn't get a TU alert.
Around campus are worried they might not be getting all the information that they need.
So it makes me feel kind of like unnerved that there's a lot of things that happen that they don't report. And I think that Temple should have more of an effort to reach out to the community.
A TU alert was not sent out after a shooting took place just a block away from Temple's campus.
Choosing what crimes you should send out to the student population. There shouldn't be any filter on it. If it happens, it should be sent out.
The incident took place outside of a student-related party on the 2200 block of Park Ave early Friday morning. Both the suspects were apprehended on site and are not Temple students. Moving forward to Tuesday, the Temple community did receive a TU alert for a shooting that took place on the 2200 block of 12th Street, just 2 streets away from the incident on Friday. Neither of the shootings took place within the police border patrol zones.
If the, occurrence is really close, then yeah, of course we need to know about it. But if it's not really that close, it could kind of stir up a reaction from the students and get them worried about something they don't really need to be worried about.
Charles Leone, the executive director of Campus Safety Services, told Temple Update, TU alerts are only sent out when there is an immediate threat to students. TU alerts are not meant to be news updates, but rather advisories for students when traveling near areas of activity. Reporting for Temple Update, I'm Melissa Steininger.
Campus security is taking new measures to help protect students on campus. Update's Chris Williams shows us a new surveillance camera system.
Surveillance cameras like these are scattered throughout Temple's campus. They cannot be adjusted or moved, and they can only provide basic still images of a scene. As helpful as these cameras can be, they still have their limitations.
You do your best in putting cameras in places where you think you're going to capture what you need to capture, but you're always going to miss something here or there, obviously, because you can't put a camera every 3 feet. Right now we're just limited in that aspect.
But there may be another option. Last February, the National Science Foundation gave Temple's Department of Computer Information and Sciences a grant to develop videos like this, the prototype for new 3D surveillance cameras.
The purpose of 3D cameras is to allow us to capture useful footage. For instance, people getting closer to a certain place, when then it sounds a warning or it blinks a light, and then, the police can go investigate it more if they want to.
And that's not all. These cameras can be streamed live on the streets through a mobile network connected by a combination of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and cellular data.
Yeah, you have an officer driving around and they're just looking, they're driving, they're looking. This camera's seeing everything. So I think that's going to be really helpful for us.
While these cameras are still in a developmental stage, the department hopes to have a prototype within the year. Reporting for Temple Update, I'm Chris Williams.
Jurors have come to a verdict in the Boston bombing trial. Johar Tsarnaev has been found guilty on all 30 counts he faced following the 2013 bombing at the Boston Marathon. Charges against Tsarnaev include conspiracy and use of a weapon of mass destruction. The jury will decide if Tsarnaev should get the death penalty in the next phase of the trial. 3 people were killed and more than 260 injured when twin pressure cooker bombs exploded near the finish line of the Boston Marathon in April of 2013. Now, felt right when we got a taste of some warm spring weather, the rain just blew it all away.
Updates, Jeseamy Muentes is standing outside. Jeseamy, it looks a little dreary out there. When can we expect the spring weather warm-up we got a taste of?
Thanks, guys. I'm out at the bell tower where it's pretty damp and windy, but no rain. Better safe than sorry, I guess. Currently, it's 48 degrees out, and precipitation is not happening. Humidity's pretty high. It's at 84%. Winds are at a steady 9 miles an hour. Girls, it might be a ponytail kind of day. These gray clouds and cold temperatures will stick around all day and unfortunately go into tomorrow. For those of you heading out for your afternoon classes, it's important that you guys are prepared for these below average February-like temperatures. Frank the frat boy is wearing a sweatshirt and jeans and carrying his ever-important umbrella for possible rains later in the day. Make sure you come prepared for possible rains around 4 or 5 p.m. I'll be in the studio in a little bit to give you your full 5-day forecast and let you know if we're going to see some sunshine later in the week. Back to you guys in the studio.
Coming up on Temple Update, Temple 2.0. The expansion of classes online has more students logging on.
And drivers, if you're constantly swerving on the streets this year, you're not alone. We'll tell you what the city is doing about those potholes.
Plus, welcome to the off-season. The sports desk Simone Cuccurullo will tell you about spring training for football.
And Jeseamy Muentes will return for the 5-day forecast. Temple Update will be right back. Happy Financial Literacy Month. Temple is giving you the gift of tips to avoid student loan debt and keep the cash in your pocket. Borrow from federal loan sources first. The payback options are better and the interest rates are lower. Keep track of your student loan borrowing. Wait till after your graduation. You may be shocked. Keep track of your income and expenses. Budgeting your money will help prevent overspending. And don't be afraid to ask for help. If you're experiencing financial problems, there are resources you can reach out to here on campus. A full list of Financial Literacy Month events can be found on our website at templeupdate.com.
Now, if you're anything like me, you can hardly go a minute without checking something on the internet. Everyone can tell you this. For some students, now that includes going to class. Updates Jenna Beck keeps us connected to Temple's online class expansion.
Temple University increased the number of online classes available as a step towards creating more online degrees. Daniel White is the director of digital education behind the project.
There are ways in the online environment, either using some synchronous pieces like WebEx the university subscribes to, or asynchronous based structures where students are asked to go ahead and do something and they do it.
Some students say they are capable of teaching themselves in the comfort of their own home instead of sitting through lectures.
I like taking an online class better actually than going to actual class just because it's more self-paced. I kind of know what I'm doing better than signing in online or going to class.
Although some prefer staying at home to do classwork, other students say they feel more comfortable going to class to get the one-on-one experience with the professor instead.
I like actual lectures because I get to learn from the professor, like hands-on. I don't think I would learn as well if I was
wasn't in a classroom setting. I'm so used to it, and I don't think like online classes would be my thing.
Intellectual heritage professor Susan Bertolino says that some students can flourish in online classes while others need a closer connection with the professor.
You have to be a certain kind of person. It's not for everybody. Some people really need the immediacy of a professor that's with them, and they need that stimulation.
Temple has increased the number of online classes by 20% in the past year for students interested in enrolling. Reporting for Temple Update, I'm Jenna Beck.
Here's a story that Temple Update has been following for you for months now, and now that bike share program is almost ready to go. The bicycle stands have started to pop up around the city. Locations on or around campus are near the Regional Rail Stop, Progress Plaza, and the Tuttleman Learning Center. The program will officially roll out on April 23rd. Sign-ups for a monthly or annual membership can be found at rideindigo.com. And coming up on Temple Update, I've got some rust on my swing this spring, but one Temple golfer has been dominating the green. The sports desk Rocco DiSangro will tell you who.
And we haven't seen the sunshine in 3 whole days. Jeseamy Muentes will tell us when it plans on peeking through. Temple Update, we'll be right back.
Athletics. Hello Temple fans and welcome to the Sports Desk. I'm Simone Cuccurullo and I have everything you need to know about spring sports here at Temple. Now that basketball is officially over, it's time to show some love to those outdoor athletes. Let's start things off with a team you normally don't see until the fall. Temple football is back and they're midway through their spring practice sessions. The NCAA allots 15 spring practices per team and the Owls began playing ball again back on March 23rd. Today marks their 8th practice, which means only 6 more until the big cherry and white game on April 25th. There are plenty of weapons for the Owls, including senior linebacker Tyler Matakevich, who has 300 tackles. And although the calendar officially says spring, the inclement weather has been quite an issue for the women's tennis team. Cloudy skies and a delay in Maryland Eastern Shore's arrival led to a Temple win by default on Tuesday. But it was back to the courts on Wednesday as the Owls defeated Coppin State 4-0. Women's tennis is back in action against Farley Dickinson on Sunday. Brandon Matthews of the golf team is on a hot streak. He's won his 2nd straight tournament last Saturday at the Met Intercollegiate. The Sports Desk's Rocco DiSangro talked with Matthews, who looks to make it 3 in a row at this weekend's Princeton Invitational.
The junior on the men's golf team, and while he is turning heads left and right with his stellar play, Matthews keeps his eyes on the prize. Winning 2 straight tournaments is impressive to say the least, and that is what the 6'4" golfer from Dupont, PA has achieved in the past 2 weeks. Matthews looks for 3 in a row and to add some more hardware to his trophy case at this weekend's Princeton Invitational, an event he won back in 2013.
But I'm really excited the golf courses we're going to be able to play. Aronimink and Marion are obviously 2 of the best venues in Philadelphia, and it's just going to be a great week.
Mother Nature has not been nice to golfers this spring, but a little rain doesn't stop Matthews from practicing his swing. Head coach Brian Quinn owns a small garage on a driving range that his team has the luxury of practicing out of, rain or shine.
No matter what it's like outside, you got to be hitting balls. You got to be doing something to get better.
Today marks the start of the 79th Masters, and one day, Matthews hopes that he will be among the field of competitors.
It's one of my goals, one of my dreams to win it. So
Tiger, Jack, Arnold, Phil. Maybe one day, Matthews will be among the greats to put on that historic green jacket. Reporting for Temple Update, I'm Rocco DiSangro.
Now, although the golf team is doing well, women's lost to UConn Huskies, and they moved to an 8-4 record. But that's about all the time we have left for today here at the Sports Desk. We'll be with you for the remainder of the spring season. If you have a story you'd like us to cover, be sure to reach out to us on Twitter at @TU_SportsDesk. I'm Simone Cuccurullo. Back to you guys in the studio.
And coming up on Temple Update, drivers are paying a price thanks to untreated roads. We'll tell you how the city is handling that pesky pothole problem.
Plus, trade in that rain jacket for a t-shirt and ball cap. Jeseamy Muentes will outline your weekend warm-up.
Temple Update, we'll be right back. Drivers in Philadelphia are facing a bumpy road this spring. Potholes are littering the streets and damaging cars. I went on Pothole Patrol to see how the city is addressing the problem. The end of winter in Philadelphia means the start of a new season. And it's not spring.
No matter where I go, main roads, side roads, the potholes are horrendous.
That's right, it's pothole season in the city, and drivers around Temple's campus are not too pleased with the road conditions.
The citizens are frustrated. You know, it's difficult to drive. I know people that come down here and they bring their cars, and their cars don't move because they're terrified to drive.
Here's what happens. Winter weather makes it difficult for crews to fix the streets because they're too busy salting for storms. So when spring comes around, the potholes are abundant.
Took my eyes off the road for a second and boom, hit hard. It made me nervous because I thought, boy, did I just damage my car.
Drivers who aren't careful and just speed over those potholes are at risk of damaging their car, maybe a flat tire or even a missing hubcap. The Streets Department says they've filled over 17,000 potholes since the start of the new year. And they told Temple Update if you report a pothole on Twitter or their website, crews will fix them in 3 days. Still, both Temple students and the local community feel like North Philadelphia is being neglected.
With all the money being pumped into the city, we still haven't found a way to, finance the fixing of a lot of the potholes.
We get used to it, we get adapted, and we just go roll with the punches.
That exact location and a description of the pothole, when you report it, they'll be able to fix it a lot faster. And Phil, I gotta say, even if we do have the potholes, at least it's spring.
I know I have my fair share of problem with them too, Becca.
Let's go to Jeseamy Muentes in the Weather Center. Jeseamy, please tell me we have a weekend warm-up on the way.
Thanks, guys. And I'm sorry to say, unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing too much sun this weekend until about Sunday. Mother Nature gave us a glimpse of some sweet sunshine and then just took it away. Sunday's going to be our first day seeing her. But I guess that's why the saying goes, April showers brings, well, you know the rest. Sad stories aside, today we'll be seeing temperatures staying in the mid-40s with chances of rain rising from about 20% to about 50% in the evening, leading into storms that we'll be seeing tomorrow afternoon. It'll be a damp and wet day, similar to what we saw yesterday. Tomorrow we'll be seeing a high of 79 and a low of 50. Heavy thunderstorms will roll in mid-afternoon, so don't get rid of that umbrella just yet. Going into Saturday, temperatures will drop a bit while wind speeds rise slowly. Thankfully, we shouldn't be seeing too much rain, but it will continue to be humid with a high of 66 and a low of 41. Then we'll see some sun going into Sunday. Temperatures will stay about the same, but we will see low winds that day, so be sure to head on out to the 18th Annual Cherry Blossom Festival in Fairmount Park this weekend if you have the chance. And it doesn't stop there. Monday's gearing up to put the spring in your step with a high of 73 and a low of 55. Cloudy skies throughout. Soak up the sun while it's here because we're not going to see too much of her next week. As always, be sure to follow us on Twitter at TU Weather Watch for your weather updates. From the Update Weather Center, I'm Jeseamy Muentes. Back to you guys in the studio.
Now, that's all the time we have for Temple Update. For all the latest, log on to our website at templeupdate.com.
Don't forget, you can always follow us and like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
And you can always watch us 24/7, templetv.net, and Comcast Channel 50, Verizon 45. For Becca Hendrickson and the rest of the Update team, I'm Phil Dupont.
We'll see you next time.